How does COVID affect your industry and company in general? Let's start with Alfa. Question from one of the audience, from Gracie. Can we have some example of e-learning that Alfa is referring to? Alfa.
Right. So I think so maybe to be very clear in regards to what ProSpark is offering in the market, we are offering the platform, the learning management system itself, right, to our clients. That it can include banks, e-commerce companies, insurance companies, so they can use the platform. They can upload all their contents, their users, all their trainings, and they can disseminate it across all their ecosystem to educate or train the employees or users at any time, right? So our devices, iOS, Android, and also web application. What we are also now advancing in expanding our offerings and services is now we are also diversifying our product offering into content marketplace, whereby we are starting to offer a variety of different instructional designed content specific to around soft skills within the enterprise SME space. Could be leadership, coaching, learning, whatever that is. So now we are also starting to offer a packaged solution around soft skills that we can actually offer to the enterprise or clients which are using our platform. We are also expanding our e-learning solution in areas, for example, like basic things like HR policies, how to develop like a succession plan, some basic tools. Which sometimes when you think about SMEs, like most of the startups, right? Sometimes we do not have enough of an HR functioning, full-blown ecosystem within our entities because of, I'm sure, budget constraints or focus or resources or time. So one of the gaps we see specific to a lot of SMEs is how can, onboarding of new employees, right? Decimating of different policies, trainings around COVID, how can they adapt in this new norm, right? So what we are also doing now, in addition to the soft skills which we're already pushing, we are also starting to get into that space of helping within the HR onboarding, basic engagement tools, whatever we can develop for our clients, and we're offering that within the SME clients. When you think about ProSpark, it's a variety of, it's like three major key buckets. There's ProSpark for the enterprise, which is the large organizations, the banks, the logistics, hospitals. You also have ProSpark for the SMEs, which is more like most of the startups in the space between 30 users to 200 users, right? Price point is about from $500,000 to 1.5 million. That's an offering for the SMEs. We also have ProSpark for education, which is the LMS vehicle, which we are offering the universities for their teaching and learning of their employees. So yes, what we are now doing is complementing the foundation of our learning management system offering and targeting all the users within our ecosystem now with specialized content services as part of our offering. So that's what we are doing at ProSpark. We're not really much into B2C, the other stuff you get to see out there. And as of today, actually, we're having conversation with our friends at Arya Fitness with Gita and her team. What we also would start to offer in our enterprise solution clients is the content around fitness. So one thing about corporate or enterprise or SME is people need to be fit, right? Exercising or whatever. So we want our clients not only to access their trainings around soft skills, company policies, onboarding, but we also want to provide this access content around fitness, which will be curated and tailored by Gita and her team at Arya Fitness as part of our corporate entity offering. Because one thing you see typically in the US or where I'm from or whatever, most of the companies, health and fitness is a big deal. There's an office for that. There's content developed for it, which is being pushed within the company intranet for all the employees to access. So what we're also thinking now to do is to provide some of our clients or people using our ecosystem access to content around fitness, especially within this working from home culture and how to live a balanced lifestyle. So that's pretty much a comprehensive view of what our e-learning consists of.
Okay, thank you, Alpha. So over to Ardi.
All right, thank you, Arya. Before we move on, from the audience, if you have any question, just write it up. And also in YouTube, we've got a question. So I will ask a question from YouTube audience, from Bayu Seto. Are you doing any pivoting in your business model because of COVID-19, or maybe improvement? Let's start with Alpha.
Yeah, I mean, I think absolutely, right? So, I mean, I'm still yet to find any company or any company out there that is not pivoting in some shape or form. I think from our perspective right now, one of the things we have done is we got rid of our office for the short term, and because now our team is very mobile and we are a technology business, so we could adapt fast into the changing norms. I'm sure we'll open it again in the next month or so. But in regards to our service offering in pivoting, the way we have managed to deal with the crisis is, for example, we have managed to, like what Brother Tomi was mentioning in his businesses, right? Like, what are some of the new offerings which they're offering to meet the needs of the new clienteles in the ecosystem? What we also have done at ProSpark, like stuff for the SME, we have never had a learning management system or e-learning package solution for the SMEs, right? When you think about Indonesia, there's roughly between 60 to 80 million SMEs in this country, right? And within just the Prasetia group of companies, there's a lot of SMEs, right? Startups that could be using our product. So one of the things we know is, we still need to hire people. We still need to update and train policies and things like that. So this is something we're also getting a lot of requests from a lot of small companies, because now they cannot train that on board their employees faster, right, in person. So what we did is we managed to produce a very cheap product, simplified version of NLMS. You can get the mobile app on it. You can also get the web application, and you can push all your trainings, onboarding, new orientation, company vision, COVID alert, whatever trainings into this platform, and people can access it anywhere at any time, and they can track their progress. That is one of the things we have done, because it's a new battlefield we're also offering. Number two, what we also have done is diversifying our target market, right? So when COVID hit, of course, we put a lot of energy in Indonesia, which is our main market, and we're still going to continue to do that. But the benefit of running a SaaS business is we're starting to get a lot of requests from Vietnam. We're getting a lot of requests from Singapore. A lot of requests from the Philippines, from companies, and so we have seen your e-learning on Jill Street Asia or Tech in Asia. Can you help us, right? So our pivot now is more like, okay, well, our main market is Indonesia. That is our 100% focus. But now we're also entertaining and listening to leads that are coming from other countries in the region. I actually had another lead coming from Chicago, where I went to school, right? There's a nonprofit organization that said they want to use something because the solutions they have in the US or other countries are expensive. They're very limited. They're not easy to use. So, in terms of how we're looking into the deal flow, we're now listening beyond Indonesia. I mean, why not, right? The product is ready. The product is very versatile. It's available across the whole Southeast Asia countries, and it's scalable. And we already have the infrastructure to support it across all this, in the Philippines, right? When you think about the Philippines, of course, it's very, it's up and running market, a little bit westernized there, a lot of American, Spanish influence, technology adoption is higher, and there's also an appetite to, a lot of techies and things going on over there. So I think in terms of, I think that clearly summarizes our pivot strategy, right? Listening to some of the noise coming from other markets in the region, and mainly diversifying our offering to target this SME space in Indonesia.
All right, thank you. How about you, Tomi?
Yeah, awesome, Alfa. Thanks, Ardi. So, yeah, for us, actually, a bit different because we have everything ready, set before the COVID-19, right? I mean, we've been developing the products for last couple of years. We launched the apps early 2019, right? Actually, to cover the one-on-one, one-to-many group webinar models, right? So actually, thank God that actually we have everything ready before COVID. So we are not also pivoting in terms of the business model. We still keep the business model, and actually it can it's actually increased because of the high request, right, from across B2C, B2B, and learning institutions, right, or corporates that actually require to transform their offline learning activities to online activities. And from the B2C side, for example, so actually we already soft launched this so-called, we call something we call it Cakap Kids, right, to actually provide language learning in English, Mandarin, Japanese to kids audience, 7 years old to 12 years old. And after launch, schools stop, right? And so it's the same condition also for tuition centers that offering language have to, so parents cannot send their kids anymore to the offline tuition centers, so they have to find online solutions, right? So when they type Cakap, when they type like belajar bahasa Inggris online or learning English online, so we already on the page one in as in Google, right? So I think thank God we have everything ready before COVID-19. But what we do is actually to create some initiatives, new initiatives using the existing business model and product. For example, we are partnering with this Hotel and Restaurant Association. It's called PHRI. That's actually the biggest one in Indonesia, with total 2,000 hotels and 150,000 members, right? So during the COVID-19, actually the workers in hospitality is the one who impacted, right? Impacted badly. So we are trying to give encouragement for them by providing free English and Mandarin course, right, for them, so they can keep positive during their time at home, right? So that kind of initiatives that we are partnering, because the spirit of Cakap is always about collaboration and partnership, right? We cannot just rely on the products, creating our own content, but we believe that the collaboration between all the stakeholders in education ecosystem will be able to speed up the impact, right? And another newest initiative from us is we just launched Cakap Upskill last week. Actually, it's a platform where we are connecting experts, right, with life skill learners in our apps, learning using video call in a group or a webinar type of classes. So actually, it's our expansion beyond language learning, because we see actually there are this massive transformation, right, from offline to online, and we need to help the 80% of that informal learning centers, right, expert that actually needs a home. So they need a home to have everything integrated in one system. So when we're talking about e-learning, it's not just video call, it's not just like a virtual classroom, but course management is very crucial also how we can do the scheduling between the student and teachers, right? And payment is actually also very important, because I believe transferring money directly is not popular anymore, right? So people wanna have like a online payment, Gojek, GoPay, OVO, right? So how we can deliver the one stop integrated e-learning solutions to help our partners, right? So that's also the initiative that we have done.
All right, I think it's related to another question from another audience from YouTube, from Aji Perdana. He's asking to ProSpark whether ProSpark is partnering with community or another entity as a source of expertise or knowledge. So I think it's Cakap is already doing it with experts. How about you, Alpha? Are you doing that similar angle with experts?
Yeah, I think this is interesting, and I think I would like to follow up with Tomi post meeting. I can see some interesting synergies around the expert space and specific to some of the requests we get from our clients who are looking for specialized trainings around specialized areas. So I think it'll be interesting. I was just listening to his view in how they're creating this marketplace that can connect the two ecosystems. So I think me and him, we might have a beer virtually, and we could talk a little bit more about that.
Sure, Alpha. Happy to do that after this.
Absolutely. I'll buy the first round. Don't worry. so yeah, I think from our vantage point of view, what we are typically doing is we're working with training companies, right? Who are specializing in specific skill sets, right? It could be sales trainings. It could be, let's say, machine learning, artificial intelligence, coding, whatever these different topic areas, which our clients are looking for specialized targeted learnings around specialized targeted topics, right? We do not have that expertise in-house, and we do not intend to have that expertise in-house. This is where we are leveraging the training ecosystem or the training companies in Indonesia that are already working with the same portfolio of companies we are going after. So that's our training expert ecosystem, which we are leveraging within our target market area. But I think what will be interesting for us is to check out the portfolio or the scope of what Tomi and his team are doing, and to see whether there's any potential synergies which we could leverage within our ecosystem. Because we always get this request from a lot of our clients. We get a lot of different topics. Even some of the clients, they always say, hey, so besides just the content development, do you have a subject matter expert, let's say, for example, machine learning, who can come in and speak, do like a virtual meeting, or come in person and speak to our IT experts or whatever within the bank, right? And then sometimes it takes quite a while for us to go back to our ecosystem to pick and match, and then bring forward options to the market. So I think it's all about us expanding our pool in terms of how we look into the market, how we are expanding the ecosystem, and leveraging the relationships we already have. I think something further I would like to follow up from an earlier comment from Tomi when he mentioned something interesting about the number of learning centers or learning institutions in Indonesia, right? You think about 300,000 to 400,000, baseline of 360,000, the number. I mean, that number is huge, right? And he went further and say 80% of that 360 or 380,000 companies have been affected. Either they have completely stopped to do everything they've been doing, right? Or they just took a break from everything, right? Or whatever they're doing is been limited. So I think it's a very interesting statistics, right? Because for us, what we're also seeing is the same learning centers. I think they can also put like trainers, right? Training companies, training institutions in Indonesia, corporate trainers, education trainers, vocational training centers, right? That market itself has been absolutely severely disrupted because of COVID. Because traditionally in Indonesia, the training industry is more in person. The trainer go to Mandiri Bank, they go to BNI, they go to BRI or whatever. They train the whole day, 8 hours, 5 days a week. It's long, it's doing this, they do all these different things in person, right? And now that completely disappeared, right? So your revenue as a training company was all heavily skewed towards in-person training, right? So then how do those companies have to adopt? And I'm sure all of you guys in all your WhatsApp groups or Facebook, Instagram, you'll be seeing a lot of pop-ups of invitations from training companies. They have a Zoom webinar and you have to pay 175K to attend a Zoom or something like that. So everyone within this training, learning and developing ecosystem, they're trying to do everything they can to adapt because people, individuals, they were not ready for this, right? So what we've been saying all along, and I'm sure Tomi and his team might have been doing the same thing, is to encourage companies, encourage institutions, encourage enterprise or SMEs or training companies or universities to think about this blended learning experience as part of their L&D ecosystem, right? And that has been a little bit slow in terms of changing behaviors, in terms of what the market does, because pretty much traditionally everything in Indonesia is very in-person. So this shock happens and it created a very huge disruption in the marketplace. So yes, I mean, when Tomi mentioned that, there's been 80% really affected, you can see that a lot of small training companies, mid-sized training companies were severely decimated or completely wiped away off the market, including some of the middlemen they use to find new deals and projects. So the question is, how do we get ourselves from this hole we have created? So what we're doing at ProSpark is our number one goal is we're also building and continuous expanding our presence within the training institutions. We're already partnering with Muhammad Institute. Indonesia is one of our key training and also our sales partner. We are also partnering with PwC Indonesia. We are now the LMS partner for PwC. So what we're doing is we are continuously reinvigorating our strategy, looking into the ecosystem, because at some point somebody has to bring in all these different pieces together, right? Subject matter experts, instructors, professors, trainers together, right? Because at some point everything has to all work as a system. So what we believe that the future is not going to be on so much on decentralized access to information. It's not going to be much on so much redundant processes or redundant things of old ways of doing things that belongs in the 1960s or the 70s. We believe that the future is going to be more embedded within an ecosystem that feeds the input, the process, and the output, and everything working together concurrently, exchange ideas, provide feedback, quick, fast, data-driven by the speed of the button. That's where we see the opportunities, and I'm glad Tomi really highlighted that in his earlier conversation.
All right, thank you, Alfa. And back to our questions.
That's a hard question. Okay, so yeah, this is specifically in terms of fundraising, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Fundraising, I think the VC that active or just window shopping is actually can be well filtered right now. Even from my experience, some of the VC that actually always wanna meet the startups right now, they stop, right? Or even very slow response. I have to be honest. So actually, the VC the list of the investor is reduced significantly, right? We from the maybe 50 investors that we have, so right now we only have like perhaps 5 to 10, right? Then actually it's but in terms of the education sector, for sure we are in the positive position, right? Healthcare, education, we are in a positive position, and I think it's very good for us, because even though the valuation perhaps is also will be different, right? With the condition maybe last year or 2 years ago, but I think for the education sector is still very positive. The investors are still very bullish to the market, right? And it's just the matter of the readiness of the venture capitals, right? And also the valuation, I think. So from my side, there is no problem in terms of fundraising to the investor, specifically for the Edutech startups in education. For the Edutech startup in Indonesia.
And especially, I think you're getting a lot of media coverage in the past couple of months, right? So that I think that helps. How about you, Alfa?
No, I think it's good. I'm glad to hear brother's Tomi experience. So Tomi, please send me a check if you have extra money. So no, I think our so if you so basically the game of fundraising, it's like dating, yeah. It's like a dating session. You have a couple of different options on the table. You take one to dinner, you take one for coffee, you take one fishing, and sometime you might catch something on the way. So no, I think what to be very honest, fundraising has been different from the way it was pre-COVID, right? You can see that a lot of VC funds are a little bit tightening the belt because there's a lot of uncertainties in the market. This is not only Indonesia or Southeast Asia; it's a global thing. You can also look into the numbers coming out of the Silicon Valley. You can also look at numbers coming from Singapore. Globally, investors are pulling back from the market. Of course, LPs are driving some of those decisions, right? Because there's a lot of global economic uncertainties because people do not know as of now what this COVID situation is going to be and what are the implications to the economy, to spending, to different companies. So I think that's the fact. What we also see is we're also seeing a lot of interest from VC funds to speak to people within the edtech space, right? Because now there's a lot of capital sitting there. Most likely some of the sectors, if somebody wants to start like an Airbnb, start like a hotel business in this time, it could be very difficult to raise money, right? Or a travel advisory business, it could be very difficult, right? You all saw the down round which Traveloka has to go through recently, right? It's a very hard hit business. So what we also see is there's a lot of VCs which we never thought they would speak to us before, but now they actually made a meeting to speak with us because they want to learn more about what we are working on within the edtech e-learning space, right? So we now know that our industry is now the focus, right? As many governments, for example, President Duterte in the Philippines already said the whole year no one's going to go to school, right? Everybody has to do things remotely. I'm sure Indonesian government is also pushing initiatives of how they can do all this blended learning experience within the education institutions. So you're starting to see a lot of requests, a lot of, hey, can we have a one-on-one? Let's have a coffee chat. I want to know what you guys are working on, right? It's more like an easier conversation compared to where it was, let's say, in the past 8 months, the first time we did a pre-seed round, right? So we already raised the pre-seed. We're in the process of closing our seed round. So we see that conversation a little bit different. But at the same time, right, it's all about, because before, some of the VCs are like, wait a minute, e-learning, enterprise, or in that space, how big is the market, right? When people think about e-learning in Indonesia, they think about Ruang Guru, right? That's just the benchmark, right? Oh man, Ruang Guru, they think about other the big ones, right? So you clearly haven't had much of understanding the scope of the enterprise market itself in Indonesia. As more investors, as more players, more competitors, as more SaaS suppliers are still trying to figure out this whole enterprise space within the B2B framework. Because more people know more about the B2C versus the B2B. So eventuality, from what we're seeing, is we're getting a lot of requests since we're fundraising. We're getting a lot of good meetings. We're also getting other investors who are more like, you know what, let me wait a little bit next round to see how things work, because maybe they're a little bit cautious since we are pretty much at the seed stage and so we'll go to pre-series A. But based on my experiences and what I'm seeing my other friends are going through, you can see that a lot of my friends have been affected. I have 3 friends who tried to raise. They just unsuccessfully didn't had to go through into the next steps. But for ProSpark, we're very happy. In this round, we already have 2 VCs already committed, and we're in the process of finalizing maybe 2 or 3 players who will join us in the next round. So we are lucky, and we're privileged to at least have 2 investors who are willing to take a risk on us during this phase, because this is something I wasn't even expecting, that at this stage, with what's happening in the economy, with the effects of the business, traction, we'll at least have a major VCs interested in putting money in us. So we're very happy that we've managed to cross that little bridge. Of course, we want to cross that little bridge higher, and that's what we're working on right now. So in terms of where we're going to go next, we will continuously engage with more investors, more VCs, because we know the journey is long. But for right now, we're a little bit of excited that at least we have 2 VCs who invested at least $1 for this coming round. So we're excited about that. But let's not make a mistake. For my own personal experience, it's very hard to raise money in this stage, and I have a lot of friends who've been affected. I'm not gonna sit over here and make like, oh, this is all kumbaya, this is easy. I think that's nonsense. I'm not gonna take that route. It's very difficult for a lot of people, and I'm in the same boat as a founder, a co-founder of a company. I know the pain. I know the sweat and blood of what people have to go through just to continuously sustain the operation, and I feel for a lot of people, and hopefully, this nightmare will come to pass for all the companies out there to meet their revenue and fundraising goals. I know it's very difficult. It's been difficult for us. It's still difficult for us. We're making small improvements here and there, but of course, my heart goes out to all my other co-founders or other founders in other countries or in Indonesia who are facing a terrible nightmare due to this COVID situation.
All right. Thank you, Alfa.
Related with limited internet infrastructure in Indonesia, do ProSpark and Cakap have a new solution or new technology to solve that challenge?